Hey everybody, thanks for watching my October video market report for Sarasota and Manatee counties. You know, before Ian came, the big story in real estate in Florida was the nationwide downtrend in housing demand because of rising mortgage rates, right? Well, Wednesday, September 28th changed all of that. And if you look at the data, the changes actually started coming in around September 23rd when Ian first became a thing. And the forecasts were beginning to show that it would make landfall in Florida. I know, we were battening down the hatches in my house. We had a large slowdown in real estate activity too, even in areas that were not likely to be threatened by the storm. And that's what we saw in the data, a drop in both new listings and new pending sales ahead of the storm. Closings were also delayed. So if you add up all the weekends, including Labor Day and the week of the storm impact, you're left with only 3/4 of a month of business days. And so the figures were less than average in that case. Closed sales of single-family homes were down 29% year over year, the most significant year-over-year percentage drop they've experienced so far in 2022. And it's also worth noting that part of the reason that September's year-over-year declines in closed sales were so large is that during the pandemic years of 2021, the Florida real estate market was booming in what is normally a slow time for closed sales. So now the figures look more like they did in 2018 and 2019. One of the most adversely affected stats by Ian in September was the new listings of single-family homes, which was down by close to 17% year over year, compared to just 3% in August. Condos and townhouses were also down by 21% versus August's modest decline of about 11%. The result for end-of-month inventory turned out to be a wash, with the drop in new listings essentially being matched by the hurricane-affected drop in new contracts and active listings pulled off the market temporarily. Single-family inventory at the end of September was marginally higher than in July or August. And the same goes for condos and townhouses. Among those property sales that did close in September, the median sale price for single-family homes was just under $404,000, a year-over-year increase of nearly 14%. That's still a very high rate of growth, but we're easing off the pedal compared to April and May, when the median price was up to close to 22% year over year in the condo and townhouse category. Median sale price remains high at 20.5%, rising to just over $307,000. And since Ian came in the last week of the month, you know it's going to spill over to October's numbers statewide. Post effects of the storm will affect the numbers for all but the Panhandle. Things like property damage and infrastructure damage and electrical outages, they're big things. Attention's got to be focused on the plight of the victims in Southwest Florida so that we can all work together to help address their needs. I put links in the section above this article in my newsletter for you to help out if you can. Florida is a huge state with 22 million residents, and the majority of us usually come through these storms relatively unscathed, facing only a few inconveniences, if any. This time's a little different, but Ian has dampened the market in September across the state, but we can expect that impact to roll over into October's market stats for various counties. Most of Florida's local markets were fortunately spared from severe damage to properties and infrastructure in those areas. Foregone new listings, new contracts, new closings during the last week of September were likely to be pushed into October. So we could see a boost in those statistics in many parts of the state, including ours. As far as the hardest part, the recovery will take longer. The market activity will remain slow for a while, or perhaps not as long as you might think. Florida is a hyper-resilient state. We always bounce back stronger. Over the past 2 decades, Florida has experienced many storms, and most the significant impact business-wise has been on the insurance industry for the most part, with many going insolvent and leaving the state. In Sarasota and Manatee, we are likely to see a bump in sales because of both people coming here from the devastated areas and also people up north that see Bradenton and Sarasota as once again just being grazed by the bullet of Ian and escaping the tragedy to the south. Most of the state has gotten back to business as usual over the past weeks, and we will likely see a rebound in October numbers. The difficulty is that we are rebounding back to a market still heavily weakened by high mortgage rates and low affordability, and that's the single greatest obstacle to the statewide market advance into 2023. Will we rebound in October? Money Magazine is the latest national outlet to spotlight Sarasota as a great place to live and purchase a home. Sarasota made it into the publication's 50 best places to live in the U.S. While the beaches earned high mention, a write-up in the magazine spends more time on cultural assets like Ringley Museum, the Rubens Collection, and Marie Selby Botanical Gardens, not to mention the endless art galleries, plays, theaters, live performances, and the New Bay Park. Sarasota is far more than just beaches and golf. Be sure to keep an eye right here with me, Rob Satori, for relevant market stats. Live luxury now. Thank you, and best always.